I gave you like paper towels for Christmas.
No, thank you.
Thank you. I don't like gifts.
Well, I do like gifts, but not that.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Welcome to a Valid Podcast Christmas edition. I'm Maria Palmer with All Abilities Media. I have a white Christmas tree with blue lights on. Haven't turned them on yet. Next to me, I have my elf on the shelf, Melanie. And of course, my background is Harry Potter Christmas version. So basically, it's all Christmas themed tonight, everyone. Thomas, can you describe yourself? And I'll ask you tonight's question.
Okay, I'm a white male, 62 years old, black hair and glasses, and wearing a pajama top.
All right. What is most important about the holidays to you?
The most important thing about the holidays would be the gathering of friends and family to enjoy the holidays together.
Do you have any favorite Christmas or holiday movie? And
yeah,
why?
I would say I would have to say Scrooge, the black and white version.
And why is that?
I just enjoy that old type of movie.
And what do you do when you don't like a gift?
You know, I've never had that problem. I've never had a gift that wasn't nice or anything like that.
What should people do at the holidays to include people with disabilities who think differently?
They should be accepted totally without question.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Thomas.
You're welcome.
All right, Thomas, who would you like to ask next?
Kris.
All right, Kris, you and Thomas are next.
What type of Christmas movie do you enjoy?
I like the Charlie Brown Christmas, and I like the Grinch, and I like the Christmas Carol with Alistair Sim. If that's the one you're talking about.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
What is the most important thing about the holidays to you?
The most important thing about the holidays is to remember things like the birth of Jesus, stuff like that.
Nice. What do you do when you don't like a gift?
Well, sometimes I sort of inadvertently tell people I don't like it. But I thank them anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What should people do at the holidays to include people with disabilities who think differently?
I'll just bring them along.
And Kris, we're all doing visual descriptions here. Obviously, you are on Zoom right now, a black square with your name, K-R-I-S.
Yeah. I'm a white female with blonde hair.
I love how you're K-R-I-S like Kris Kringle.
Yeah, thanks.
Would you like to ask someone this set of questions?
I'll take Heather. Okay, what's most important about the holidays to you?
The most important thing about the holidays is my holidays are different because I don't ask for presents, I ask for experiences. So my mom and dad will give me experiences. Like next week I'll be going to Florida with my friend that I've been friends with for 10 years. She's my Florida family, so I like hanging out with her because she includes me with her family in everything we do. I talk to her family like every single day. So it's kind of like I have like 3 families, kind of.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Christmas or holiday movie?
My favorite movie is Rudolph because I like the scene where he flies and says like Clarice says, I think I'm cute, and my mom makes Rudolph pancakes every time we watch it, and she makes the best hot chocolate, and she puts it in a Christmas mug, and it's Rudolph. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool one. What do you do when you don't like a gift?
If it's my parents, I will tell them directly I don't like this, but I don't really get. It's kind of hard because I have everything I want, the most things I want for Christmas is like a friend, like a typical friend, like a friend or like experiences. But my mom will get me like stuff and put under the tree and like wrap it. But like I don't really do that. I just do more experiences, whatever, and I always get back to like other people.
Uh, okay. What should people do at the holidays to include people with disabilities who think
I
differently?
I think people should include other people, because I try to include other people when I'm at like Christmas parties and stuff. Cause I remember in like middle school, I was sitting at this table, and I had nobody to sit with, and actually my principal had to teach me everything from like reading, writing, whatever. So I sat at lunch with her. So yeah, I would say include everybody. If you see somebody sitting by themselves, just ask them if they want to like join your like be a part of your group. That's what I always try to do, include everybody. Even our class, I try to do that with like everybody where I sit with people. Yeah.
Heather, would you like to ask someone the questions? We have Michelle.
Michelle,
All right.
what is the most important thing to you about the holidays?
I think it's definitely spending time with family and friends. I love getting the time off from work to spend with my husband, and I also am looking forward to seeing my nieces.
Do you have a favorite Christmas movie or a holiday movie?
We like to watch Love Actually, and part of the reason why that is important is I can remember all those years ago, my friends and I, we went and watched that in the theater, and for a long time, that was one of the movies that we would put on whenever we got together for Christmas.
What do you do when you don't like a gift?
When I don't like a gift, it depends on the situation. If I really know the person and I'm honest, I can kind of say, "Oh, I don't care for that." But I always try to do it politely. And if I really don't know the person, then I'll be polite with that. And then sometimes I think of ways that I might be able to give that present to somebody else. I can remember one Christmas, there was an elderly woman in my writing group, and she gave wipes away for Christmas. And I was like, oh, thank you. And one of my friends, he was taking care of his parents, and his dad, I gave him to him that year. And he actually liked that because he was able to help care for his father with them. So it did serve some value to somebody else.
What should people do at the holidays to include people with disabilities who think differently?
I think one of the things that they can do is find a way to be able to include them and see what they need, whether that might mean transportation, picking somebody up. I think that definitely means a lot to people.
Michelle, would you like to ask someone the questions? I guess Maria
Sure,
or me.
I'll ask you. Let me see here. What is the most important thing about the holidays to you?
Well, I think Jesus definitely being born. You know, I was telling someone yesterday that like I appreciate when everybody, talks about family and friends, but if you don't have family and friends around the holidays, I think that's part of the Christian story of we're all part of the human family, and even when we're completely alone, God is with us. So that is central to me, not to exclude the great parades I've been to with family members for Christmas and that sort of thing.
Good. Do you have a favorite holiday or Christmas movie?
I am a big fan of the movie, I'm not remembering the name, Christmas Story, about the
Oh
kid,
yeah,
you'll shoot your eye out and that sort of thing.
yeah.
The Red Ryder BB gun. Yeah, big fan. Big fan. I read the book. I visited the house it was set in Cleveland. So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I always wanted to go visit the house. And what do you do when you don't like a gift?
You know, I wrote these questions and I didn't think about this one because I wanted to know what everybody else does because you're probably all more polite than me. It depends. A friend gave me some like lavender hand cream the other day, and I'm trying. I really don't like the smell, so I'm thinking I'll just give it back to her because she must like it. If she, you know, she must like the smell, and she's a friend that you can do that with, you know.
Right.
But I remember one time my mom gave me this. I was in a more animal rights mode, and my mom gave me a leather skirt, and I was like, why would you think I would like this? And my grandmother was like, here she goes again. So anyway, it wasn't my best moment. Wasn't my best moment. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Oh, and what should people do with the holidays to include people with disabilities who think differently?
Well, I don't have so okay, so the way I think, I get overwhelmed by a lot of people. And
Mhm.
so I hope that people would accept people like me who need to have some alone time, you know, have some downtime,
Mhm.
sometimes walk away from the table and maybe take a walk. Because that's kind of where my mental health needs to be taken care of. And you know, I hope people would not get offended by that, but just accept that that's Jennifer. Yeah, and she's okay. Okay.
Nice.
I guess I get to ask some questions, eh? Yeah. So, Maria, are you there?
I am.
Okay, you're off camera. So I can't see you, but oh, there she is. There she is, straight from the
Yeah.
Harry Potter Palace or whatever it's called. Maria, wait, she's disappeared again. Maria, what is most important about the holidays to you?
I'd say the most important thing about the holidays is trying to find some fun times to make for any occasion, whether it's like family, friends, any occasion whatsoever, just like I'm doing with the read alongs and stuff. And I mean, it's not easy right now, but I mean, we try to make it work.
What do you mean by it's not easy?
Like, we all get in arguments, we all complain about the dinner food, about what we want, we all like, and it's practically like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Gotcha. So yeah, thanks for making it real about the challenges of family sometimes with the holidays, but I'm sure you, like you said, you make it work. Do you have a favorite Christmas or holiday movie?
I have many favorites, but I think my most favoriteest one would be White Christmas.
Is that like Bing Crosby kind of thing?
Yes, it is.
Uh-huh.
Old school. Maria.
I'm the only one who watches all these old time stuff. I was born in the 93 era, but my grandma Palmer was the one who got me started with the old classic. My first movie I saw when I was a toddler was Singing in the Rain, and ever since then I have been watching all kinds of oldie stuff. I've been watching White Christmas. I've been watching the black and white horror movies, including Creature from the Black Lagoon. I've been watching I have been watching a whole bunch of old time classics.
Love it. Love it.
Except for A Wonderful Life. I don't think I'll ever get into that.
Really? Why?
I
What is
don't
wrong
know.
with
I mean,
you?
there's just
It's
something about
un-American.
it that I don't know. I guess I'm just into the musical stuff. I mean, they're not.
Gotcha.
When I think of White Christmas movie, I like the music, I like the dancing and stuff. But when it comes to A Wonderful Life and everything, I'd rather see some musical stuff. I'd rather see like them singing songs and dance. I mean, you don't see that too often in movies. So I mean, I would.
If you watch till the end, you will see some singing.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they actually still have a museum with the person who plays the main character in Pennsylvania. I forget his name.
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart.
That's it.
Gotcha.
I liked him.
You like him, Kris?
I like that movie. I saw it once. I thought it was going to be hokey, but I thought it was pretty cool.
My mother and I watched the entire thing last year. Never had watched the entire one, you know, just bits and pieces. So I definitely recommend it. at least
Yeah,
once.
they play. It's a wonderful. Yeah, wonderful. It's a wonderful. It's Christmas, right?
Wonderful
Yeah,
Life.
and
Life. Thank you.
yeah, and I
They
don't know
play.
if you know, and I don't know if you've noticed this, guys, but because of White Christmas movie, some of the old classics are definitely reaching back to this generation, especially the one ringtone that I have on my phone that I created for me and my sister. The sister song, of course. We all saw that it's coming, making a comeback. Yeah,
Yeah.
sister song. Yeah, I mean, we saw Kelly Clarkson do it. We see people do it on
Oh,
TikTok.
yeah.
We see them bringing it back.
Okay.
Yeah,
Love
there's
it.
also the Bells of St. Mary's is another oldie but goodie. Another
Is that
Bing Crosby.
Christmassy? Wait. Oh, I confuse that with Lilies of the Field. But yeah, Bells of St. Mary. That's Bing
Yeah,
Crosby.
I mean, but the only thing about that movie is that it's reminding us of two songs that should be performed during Memorial Day. Follow the Old Man and Wish I Was Back in the Army. Those are the two songs that I think should be dedicated during Memorial Day.
You're talking about White Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of themes in there. Yeah. That's a tearjerker. We'll follow the old man. Yeah.
Well, as a person who grew up from the 1960s, I've watched a lot of the old golden age of television movies.
Good stuff. Hey, Maria, what do you do when you don't like a gift?
I just say thank you. I appreciate this gift and everything. Whenever they're around, I kind of smile and everything. But when they leave, I kind of just put it somewhere where I'm not going to use it and all that stuff. Because the thing is, my stepdad's granddaughter, and I will never forget this. She asked me what I liked, what I want for Christmas and all that stuff. I told her what I liked. I told her that I was a big fan of Beauty and the Beast, and my favorite character was Belle and everything. And what did she get me? She gets me a Maleficent cup. Like, seriously, I'm not a villain. I'm not a villain. I don't like villains. Why on earth would you give me Maleficent?
I kind of liked that movie, I gotta say. What should people do at the holidays to include people with disabilities who are neurodiverse or think differently?
Well, funny you should mention that. So one of my read-along stories that I did this past month, a couple of weeks ago, is "'Twas an Autistic Christmas," and I read this.
Wow.
Yes, and this is a perfect book to read. Telling what people might be acting like or doing or whatever. Because after all, some of us might twitch, we might snap our fingers like I do when it comes to music. I might snap my fingers to the beat or, anything in particular. And trust me, this is the perfect book to read. And it was written by an autistic person. So this is "'Twas an Autistic Christmas," written by J. Riker Voss.
That's awesome. And you might find it in your local library, as Maria did.
Yes, or Barnes and Nobles or Amazon.
Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our questions, but I have to follow up on Michelle Steiner's. Did you say somebody gave you wipes for Christmas? Like hand wipes or for other
No, like you personal care, like all that stuff. And then
Wow.
I think it was, and she just got out of the hospital, and it was this very eccentric old woman that came to our writing group, and she was just like, oh, if you put them in the microwave, they work like a dream. And she was really trying to be helpful, and we never did a white elephant gift ever again at that meeting for Christmas. But and yeah, my friend, his dad was not doing really well, and he was taking care of him, and that really helped him out. And I guess there's a use for that.
Okay, one thing I want to go back around the room, our Zoom room here, and do. Some of us did visual descriptions, some of us didn't, and none of us ever introduced ourselves, I realized, other than Maria.
My name is Michelle Steiner. I am a white female with dark hair, and I have a red dress on with black flowers. And my background is a Christmas one with a Christmas tree and red and yellow bulbs. Very different from my tree in the living room because I do a lot of pink. So this is the red one. And let's see. Heather, would you like to go next and introduce yourself?
Yes. My name is Heather. I have dark brown hair. I love Spanish, so my art room, because my mom kind of took my two passions and put them together. So my art room, and I have like the Spanish flags, and this is kind of like my study room in my house.
Nice, thank you.
Similar to
And
Thomas.
Jennifer.
Thanks. Similar,
Oh.
jumped the gun there. Similar to Thomas.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. Sitting in front of a Christmas tree with lights. This is not my house. I'm at the Emmaus community of Pittsburgh, which is somewhere where I work. And we have residential homes for people with intellectual disabilities and primarily Down syndrome. And someone should be joining me soon. Somebody who lives here, actually. But I just love the background. I have a Santa hat on, and also a shout out to somewhere Heather's part of. I have these silver earrings from Forget Me Not Studio in
Laura makes them.
in Carnegie. Yeah. So and a nutcrackers on my red shirt, which are actually named after my grandparents. And if anybody wants something cool to do in the Christmas season, Steubenville, Ohio has a Christmas, well, they had a parade, but lots of life-size nutcrackers representing businesses in the area and people and my grandparents. So.
And my mother's home from the Nutcracker herself. Oh, am I jealous?
We are actually joined by Erin Gannon, just in from her adventures. And Erin, would you mind we all describe kind of what we're wearing and describe who we are?
Actually, I'm wearing a like a black and white with gold.
Silver bell.
Yeah.
And you are a white woman with blondish hair
And
Christmas socks.
Christmas socks.
So, Erin, I can throw these questions at you. This is what we did while you were out. Unless would somebody else like to ask Erin the questions? Maria or Michelle?
I could ask them.
Great.
If you'd like, yeah. Erin, what is the most important thing about the holidays to you?
Everything is special to me because being with my family and people I care about a lot.
Nice. Do you have a favorite Christmas or holiday movie?
Home Alone.
Nice.
And
why do you like Home Alone? Oh, go ahead.
And there's another one I can't think of it.
What she asked, why do you like Home Alone?
Because actually with the little boy in there who are like I couldn't think of the name.
And we have a helper over on the side.
Great.